Welcome to Arcade Couch, best players, shooting friends, and get your gaming goodness every Monday. My name's Tom Blind. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashely Hobley.
Hey John, excited to be here and happy to announce that we are not in Fortnite.
Yet.
But we could be. Epic. Hit us up.
Give us that Epic creator code.
Everybody wants us to be
Fortnite.
Everybody wants to play as us in Fortnite.
Just run around as Ash.
The flosses.
One up to characters. Is it though? Is it though?
Is it though? Is it though?
Is it though? I'll see you, Kieran Marchant.
Attention everybody, this is not a drill. This is one of your Explosion Network hosts speaking to you directly to tell you we are below and under 7 days until Cyberpunk 2077. Wow. No, it's even less than that because actually it's too late for them. They can't do it anymore.
I don't know.
It's too late.
Why would you say that?
In a matter of days, we'll be playing Cyberpunk, actually. You know, Dylan and me probably be seeing all the ray tracing. You'll see like half the pixels. At
like 3 a.m. in the morning, CD Projekt Red is just going to find a bunch of bugs. There's going to be a huge dump of bugs. They'll have to delay it.
That's how they work, I think. You just find a dump
I was
going to
say, it's
they just dump them bugs.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't just Bethesda does that and they just release games anyway, so, you know. Good job. Go on, you can do it too, Projekt Red.
Got 'em. Today on the show, we will be talking about Cyberpunk a bit later. Got a bunch of reviews to run through. The big news we'll be talking about, of course, Bioware heads are leaving, so we'll discuss what that means for the future of Bioware and the future of Dragon Age and Mass Effect and all that sort of stuff. But first, let's run through a bunch of reviews we put up throughout the week. So, firstly, Sackboy, Big Adventure review. Gave, what did I give it? Can't remember now. 7.5. Very good. Fun platforming adventure game. It's good. It's always good. One thing I thought about when I was right to the end of it, was like, it's not really a console launch unless there's a 3D platformer. So, and Knack never really lived up to the expectations. So it's good to actually have a good platformer launch alongside a PlayStation console. So, fun.
And there's like a I don't want to say a premium feel, but there's a next gen feel to Sackboy. Like, whereas that's maybe not the case for all 3D platformers when they get released at launch. This one feels like it deserves to be.
I think the most next gen thing about it is just the load times, or the lack of load times. Like, it's the fastest platformer. I think at some stage in a review I did say it's the fastest thing you've probably played unless you SNES or whatever. Like, load times on discs for platformers have not been this fast since ever. So no, but it's a lot of fun. 7.5. Review up for the Pathless. Gave that one an 8, I think. So the other thing I want to say about this, because we spoke about in various podcasts a lot of times, Pathless, fun, most of the time pretty relaxing other than the boss fights. They get kind of hectic at times. But the other thing I do want to note for this is, obviously I played it primarily on PS5, and that's where the 8 comes. But in my review, I did put a little extra, because I tried it out on my phone, because it was actually one of the original games shown off when they announced Apple Arcade back in the day. Like, the Pathless was one of the flagship games. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I was like, I better try it out on my phone. Disappointingly, it runs like shit on my iPhone, which I don't think is on, because, like, I've got the latest iPhone, right? Powerful phone. It should be able to run it a lot better than what it does. Like, I'm pretty sure it has a capped frame rate of 30, and then anytime you start to go too fast, it's dropping like below 20s. And I'm like, this phone is more than powerful enough. Like, my phone's probably more powerful than the fucking Switch, I'm pretty sure, right? So
the thing is, though, it probably wasn't designed on the infrastructure for that phone.
No.
It was probably designed, because when you think about it, we've already had console devs come out and say, hey, optimizing games for 7-8 consoles at once, kind of fucked. I couldn't imagine that being the case, even for iPhones, even if it's just Apple and iPhones. The amount of iPhones and the range of iPhones that they have currently that they still kind of quote unquote support, and you're kind of somewhat expected to be like kind of making that game run on all of them.
Well, I think it's just disappointing because, as it said, it was shown off at the launch of Apple Arcade. Yep. So if there was any game that I would expect to run pretty good on my phone, it would have been one of the ones that was announced with Apple Arcade. So kind of disappointing. I didn't try it out on iPad. I didn't try it out on Apple TV. I would actually expect it to run worse on Apple TV because the Apple TV doesn't actually have a very powerful like CPU or any graphics card or anything. Like it's not very powerful, obviously. So the phone's way more powerful. Maybe I would assume that the thing that plays it best in the Mac infrastructure, Apple infrastructure, would be if you had a tried it on Mac. But kind of disappointing it doesn't work on phone, considering that's where most Apple Arcade subscribers are probably going to want to play it on their phone. So that was a little bit disappointing. But if you're playing on PlayStation 5, very beautiful, fun game, full review, Spongebob.com, of course, 8 out of 10. So let's talk about something else that's new. Coming out, I can't remember when it's coming out. It's late last week, early this week, whenever it is. No, by the time this comes out Monday. Early last week. So Worms Rumble, which is a PlayStation Plus game. It's also out on PS4. It's also out on PC. Has cross-play if you want to do all that sort of stuff. This core premise of this game and the way they were promoting it was, hey, it's Worms, which is a tactical game. Turn-based tactical game, primarily in its past. Like, how about we make it real-time action where you just roll around as worms and everything. And they kept promoting it with its Battle Royale modes and all the marketing and the reveals and all that sort of stuff. And there's two of those. So you got Last Squad Standing and Last Worm Standing, which are very meh. Like
self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's literally a Battle Royale mode where you're either fighting to be the last person or the last squad. You don't really have to do any resource management. You can like open up crates as you're roaming around as you worm, but you drop in with a gun. Obviously, if you die, you're out. Spawn back in. Both of those modes, in my opinion, not very exciting. The mode I've played the most is Deathmatch, which is the third mode in the arm of this game, and that is quite a lot of fun. So it's 32 players, and it is just bonkers hecticness.
Mayhem.
Yeah, absolute mayhem. In a way that is often unfair, but also like, so if, for example, you can spawn in and you can spawn in with like a pistol, which sucks. You can spawn with a shotgun or a machine gun. That's a bit better. But also you can spawn in and directly in front of you, there's a crate and you open it and there's a rocket launcher and then you just roam down you take a couple steps to your side and you're like, well, there's 4 people fighting here and just fire a couple of rockets in and you get 4 kills, which to the 4 people who took the rocket launchers, they're like, well, that's a bit fucked. To you, you're like, ching ching. I love that. Kills on the market. Dollar bill show. So in a lot of ways, I was saying to Ash when I was playing it the other night, I'm like, this game reminds me, I put it in my review as well. I was like, this game reminds me of playing Fall Guys because it is a lot of fun, but it also has a lot of like RNG factor to that is both fun when it's you that the RNG falls on, but also super fucking frustrating if you're just like spawning in, someone just kills you, like, yeah, so but like that's part of the charm, I guess. Just also like one of the key weapons from the franchise, the holy hand grenade, is in the game. So you can throw a holy hand grenade down into just a group of people, you hear the bang, fucking blows up everyone. You're like, well, that grenade doesn't seem balanced for this game, but I think that's kind of the
it kind of is,
the point of Worms, right?
You only get
one, yeah, that's true.
Whereas the other ones are more.
Yeah.
How much of because I spent a lot of time in my youth playing Worms just for fun because I loved how kind of over the top and wacky Worms was. How much of its arsenal does it have? Like, does it have a decent variety of weapons?
It's got 10 guns total.
10 guns? Is the concrete donkey in it?
No.
That's disappointing.
It has
the ship rifle. That's the most crazy weapon.
Weapon. Do they also have the kind of range of utility that is in Worms? Like normally, like your ninja ropes, your jetpacks.
You get jetpacks. You get suction cups, like grapple gun. Like I think there's 3. There's a suction cup, which is like a grapple gun. There's a grapple gun. There's a jetpack. I think they're the 3.
Yep.
Things,
okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I guess the thing for me is, would this say if like you took the Worms like skin away from this game and you just put it as something else, would it just be absolutely fine? Like it would be no different? Like if you... Yeah, that'd be the case?
I think it would still work without the IP.
Yeah. So
I think the core mechanics and everything work enough where even if I didn't care that it was Worms, I would be...
Well, that's
I would be having a good time.
Because that's my thing for me is when I look at it, I guess, I'm very much like, did this need to be a Worms title? Because does it capture that zaniness of Worms that makes you laugh at just the dumb things that happen in the game?
I mean, it can.
Okay.
Like, I tell you what, the number of people I killed with this baseball bat, which is the melee. I mean, there is something satisfying about you watching two guys go at it for a while. One of them wins, and then you just pop out of nowhere and kill the other guy when he's got like 10% health. I mean, that is very satisfying. And then also, like you said, those times when you were able to take out multiple people at a time. I think one of the first times they killed Dylan, I like jumped over the top of him and dropped down that holy hand grenade.
I was like, great. And then it said like Ash killed me. I was like, you motherfucker.
What's the perspective of this game? Is it third person or is it
it's
side
scrolling?
It's 2D, like typical cool. Worms. It's just real time. So it is literally just imagine a Worms game, but imagine
but it's real time. Okay,
but and the traversal is much better. Obviously,
the
janky, because of the fast pace.
Yeah.
Janky traversal makes Worms great, okay?
There's a level of jankiness to it. Like you can wall jump continuously to get up the sides of things, but because you're a worm, you can easily get caught on things and it's kind of janky in that regard. And also the other way you can get around is you can just roll. You can't roll forever, but you can roll for a fair distance of time.
Which makes you move faster and everything.
If you fall from too high of a height, you don't die, but you will like
you just take
a second or so of stamina. You have to like wait a second or whatever.
Okay.
So in my review, I gave it a 6.5. I am really enjoying it. I've enjoyed all the games I played. I'm probably going to keep playing it for a little bit more because it is kind of silly. The lowest score on how much I'm enjoying it is because it's got 3 modes, and I'm saying deathmatch is the only one that's particularly enjoyable. The Battle Royale modes aren't that great. And I also think that there's 3 maps, 1 per mode basically. Not very many maps. And then I also think the unlock system or the unlock progression in the game isn't particularly exciting. So not only do you level up slowly, but even when you do, what you unlock isn't particularly exciting. So you level up, you unlock more cosmetics that you can change up your worms, like color, you can put on some stuff, which is none of it's particularly exciting anyway, but you're not unlocking enough of it to have that like sort of carrot on the end of the stick. And your guns level up the more you use them, and that unlocks skins for them that you can buy as well. But so far, none of the skins I've unlocked for my gun, I've been like, oh wow, that's cool. Or
that's because they're gonna wait before they launch their battle pass.
Yeah. And there's no battle pass at launch, which of course is another thing. So it just feels a little bit weak in content at launch, I would say.
My number one gripe is the menu system kind of sucks. You know, trying to get to customize the characters, I don't know, it just feels weird.
Yeah, it does feel wonky.
It's not. It doesn't feel precise or anything.
No. Yeah, it does feel a bit wonky. I guess for if you're playing this on PlayStation, the big plus is it is free. It's on PlayStation Plus. It's part of the games this month. If you're playing on PC, obviously you have to buy it. And with all that said, I'd say make sure you know what you're in for if you have to actually buy it. Team 17 have said we're going to be doing continuous updates. So I'm going to presume / hope that this game will just be looking a lot better, hopefully a month down the line. There's something on the website I found it. They're like, oh, try out new weapons and stuff in a mode called the lab. And I'm like, well, the lab's not in the game at the moment.
I think it is. It's in the training mode.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find.
So in the training mode, you can do the time trial.
Yeah.
Or you can go down to the lab to try it all.
Okay. So I
don't think it actually is new weapons. It's just you can
maybe they're going to add new ones.
Get a feel for all the different ones
to try out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
By the way, that time trial in the balloon thing, I think I spent half an hour. I kept trying to get faster time. It was actually pretty. I was kind of enjoying it weirdly.
Yeah.
Then I got to
I gave up because I realized I missed one.
Oh really?
The one underneath the platform.
I was doing it. I kept doing it. I was trying to get in the top. I started off and let me get in the top 500, and I got to top 300. And I was trying to get in the top 200 people, but then I was like, oh, fuck this. I should probably go play the actual game at this stage. But but no, Worms Rumble is pretty fun. Hopefully it'll get better as time goes. And again, it's not a weird spin-off. Team 17 is the people, is the original designer of
creators.
So it's not like some weird hand off to someone who hasn't made the game, or someone came in and brought the franchise and decided to do something weird with it. It is the the creators going, you know what, let's try and do something different with the franchise. And there hasn't been a Worms game for 4 or 5 years or something like that. So
it feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And they haven't been great as of recently. Like,
No.
It's not, you know.
So trying something different definitely doesn't seem like it was a bad choice. All right, so my full Call of Duty reviews up. Obviously, I've talked about the campaign and all this sort of stuff. I end up giving it a 7 in my final review. Basically, campaign I've already talked about, but multiplayer, my kind of final thoughts on that were there was only 8 maps at launch. They recently added Nuketown, which is a lot of fucking fun because Nuketown just is one of those maps. There's a reason people love it, and it's because it is just a tight, fun team deathmatch mode. Obviously, it's got a cosmetic change. It now fits the theme of the Cold War and the 80s setting and all that sort of stuff. So that's cool. But the rest of the multiplayer package is kind of lacking. Like the stuff I'm playing the most is Team Deathmatch, but all the rest of the modes are lackluster. Search and Destroy is kind of cool, I guess. You don't have gunfight here, which is weird considering that was like one of the biggest things.
I
don't know. It's like a weird missing thing. I wrote in my review, I think maybe it was taken out because it's part of Gulag in Call of Duty Warzone, and maybe they just wanted to keep, like, because you do that whole gunfight thing for that. I don't know, it's kind of weird. The 2 big new modes for this game, so the first one is Combined Arms, which is Shithouse. It's basically a continuation of Ground War from Modern Warfare last year, which I didn't like either because they're both modes. They're just trying to be Battlefield light where there's fucking tanks but the maps are just poorly designed for what they're trying to do. There's always like these big open spaces where if you're on a losing side, you're just getting like either sniped as soon as you spawn or a tank's just shooting you. Like the reason Battlefield does this stuff better is because their maps are they're designed so that snipers can't just own everyone and tanks can't own everyone. Like, people don't give enough credit to the design of Battlefield maps and being able to make vehicle warfare work with like troops and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot more to that, and like playing these modes where Call of Duty fails to get it right is the proving point. The one new mode that's sort of fun is Fireteam Dirty Bomb, which is basically a variation of Plunder from Call of Duty Warzone. So like in Call of Duty Warzone, Plunder, you have to collect cash and like take it to these points to get points. Take it to these points to get points. Take it to these locations to get points would be a better structure of my sentence. In this mode, you drop in a team of 4. There's 10 squads. You have to like search around this fairly big map to find uranium. You take the uranium to certain locations, and when you drop the uranium, you get points for your team. If you're the last team to put enough uranium into it to set the bomb off, you get extra points. And then when the bomb explodes, it like covers that certain section of the map in poisonous gas, and then no one can get there, or anyone that's in there will start taking damage. This one's pretty fun, but it is an obvious like play on Warzone's plunder mode, but it still kind of works. Zombies, I wasn't a big fan of this year. I'm never like a huge zombie fan, but there's only one zombies map, which feels kind of weird. So I googled Black Ops 4 to see how many maps was in that one when it launched, and it was 4. So it's like, well, okay, well that one had 4, this one has 1. That's weird. Like one zombies map at launch. That's kind of lackluster. And even weirder to me is the fact that they've put a lot of time into this Dead Ops arcade mode, which has always just been a joke. But I'm like, why is there so much time gone into this?
It's very much a joke. Like, yeah, Dead Ops was just like a mini thing in the original Black Ops that was like a added like extra Easter egg thing that was like, hey, you could break out of your chair in the menu screen and play this random game.
Yeah, and now it's a full thing where in the install like file thing, you can choose to install it or delete it. Like, it's one of like multiplayer campaign, Dead Ops Arcade, zombies. I'm like, maybe spend less time on Dead Ops Arcade and could have made at least a second map, I don't know, like for zombies. But zombies is fun, but it is just one map. Like, you've got 20, there's like one mode where you just play to get to round 20 to survive. There's an endless mode. On PlayStation, we have an exclusive mode at the moment called, what the fuck is it called? I already forgot. I've got it here somewhere. Onslaught or something, I think. Yeah, Onslaught, which is kind of cool. It's not like cool enough that Xbox or PC players feel like they're missing out, but it's basically, it's just you and someone else, and then you have to follow this orb around a map, and it'll stop at certain locations. Zombies will start spawning. You basically got to defend the point. Every third wave or so, like a big heavy enemy, an elite will spawn. You got to try and take that down. So it's just you and someone else working together to see how long you can survive, which is pretty fun. Like, it's obviously a simple setup or whatever else. But overall, Call of Duty this year, in my opinion, was just a very weird mixed bag that you can tell it had weird development cycle from the fact that Raven, as I talked about, got brought in seemingly at the last second to fix up this and do the campaign, and the Treyarch was doing the multiplayer, but the multiplayer just is a weird mix of modes that don't really make sense, and some of them just aren't fun at all. And then the zombies only having one map. I'm like, that's also quite weird. So yeah, it's a weird year for Call of Duty. I don't know if it's the generational change or switch, but anyway. And the last thing, I don't have my review up now, but hopefully it'll be up by Monday, is I played Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Pretty fun. I never played Devil May Cry 5 when it released. So the changes in this one are blowing me. Like, let me phrase it this way. So I knew coming in that this one, they're like, oh, you can play as fucking Virgil. Like, that's the special edition thing.
Yeah, this is Virgil.
Yeah, so I start the campaign under that, and I go, there was no cutscenes. Like, no, there was an opening cutscene, and then it was just obviously parts where there was cutscenes in the normal game. It was just not there, and it just went straight to like the next part of combat. So I played through like the prologue, and mission 1 is him, and I was like, I don't think I can do this because I haven't played this game before, so I'm not. This isn't fun for me. So then I like quit out and I started the game and I played through it normally, and then I went back and played some more as Virgil after I beat the game. And I was like, I can see why this is missing cutscenes, and without spoilers for why he wouldn't have cutscenes, but
wouldn't be.
It makes more sense after I'd actually played the game. But it was pretty fun. Like, it runs at 60 an hour if you want to have it that way. It has ray tracing. So this is one of those games where I chose not to have ray tracing because the ray tracing has fluctuating frame rate, and I just don't think the ray tracing in this game is worth losing the frames.
Performance from frames. Yeah. I think definitely where this kind of game where there's lots of action on screen, there's lots going on, I think just having those extra frames would make a lot of difference.
Yeah, and if you have 120, if you have TV, support it. There is 120 hertz frames per second mode, whatever you want to call it, which is cool. But no, I was happy with the 60. Runs buttery smooth, looks really cool. Very stylistic fucking anime game. I know this isn't really a big spoiler because I think I saw people tweet it out when it happened, but there's a sequence in this game where Dante gets a hat and he does a dance.
Is it Dante? Is it his dance video?
And I was
remember when that originally came out. When that was originally a thing, and I saw it on Twitter before I played through that section, and I thought it was like a parody section where maybe there was like an extra like after credits scene. But no, it's like fully in the actual game itself. It's about 3/4
through the game where you get the hat, which is a weapon, and he just does a dance. Weirdly.
He does like it, yeah, full dance. Like it is Japanese AF.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I'd call it. But no, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I don't think for people who've played it, unless you're hardcore fans, I really don't think the special edition like offers. It has all DLC or whatever, and like you can play as Virgil, but like the Virgil mode isn't like a brand new campaign. It just plays Virgil through the campaign. Yes. And like his moveset's different enough. He has like completely different weapons and stuff. So
it just doesn't include the story. It's like in I guess in other Devil May Cry or other that sort of games
they
where
do the same.
Where it's like you just play through as a different character, but it's still the same story. You just kind of ignore the story for the play.
But basically you have to ignore the story.
Resident Evils did that at various points where you could play as different characters.
I think it's a very like Capcom like special edition type thing.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Let's get into some news. So, firstly, I know it's weird to talk about this sort of stuff when COVID's like happening and you're like, the idea of traveling seems weird. But anyway, Kotaku writes, first look inside Super Nintendo World, which opens in Japan next February. Here it is. It's what we've all been waiting for. This is the first look at the eagerly anticipated Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios in Osaka. Announced 2015, the park was originally slated to open this year, but due to global pandemic, it was delayed. Super Nintendo World has been coming along nicely. Today, USJ announced that the park will open on February 4th. And I'll gotta be honest, like, so these images don't look real, in my opinion. Like, they look like fake. They look like animated images. They don't look like real a real place. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane.
It looks like Cartoon World.
Yeah. I really want to go though. Is what my takeaway was. I don't know if you have to spend however many hours or however long lining up, but like there's a video if you go to I've got up on the video version of the.
I don't know. I
thing,
guess
but-
if you were, if you could somehow get to Japan now, the lines wouldn't be too bad.
I don't know. I think Japan's pretty set. So
Japan's super set, but at the same time, it's like you could take advantage.
Yeah, I don't usually get excited for. I don't know. Like, I guess maybe there's not been.
I try not to get excited for the Japanese theme parks like to do it. Like there's a one for like One Piece or one for Naruto as well, where it's like, yeah, that's cool, but at the same time, is it cool? Like, how cool is it? Like, they make it look good in the trailer, but how good is it in real life?
Well, I mean, you get it's the main attraction is like fucking just a go-kart. Like, it's like a very refined ride. Like, it's hard. I feel like surely it's hard to stuff up a go-kart ride at this point. But nonetheless, I kind of want to go. The other thing, I feel like I get more excited if it's a theme park in Japan, because there's a lot higher chance I'll ever travel to Japan than there is America. Like, so, you know, like Star Wars, whatever it's called, Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge, you know, that's Orlando or whatever. And I'm like, I'm probably...
Yeah. Kofi.com/explosion.
Yeah. I'm probably never going to go to Orlando, to be honest. I don't know. Anyway, looks really cool. Exciting. Hopefully we'll go. Someone can fly us over there if you're listening, Nintendo.
Well, first, if you're going to fly somewhere, fly Ashely to Galaxy's Edge, and then
take me to what Nintendo World, whatever it's called. Six Axis writes, new Crash Bandicoot game potentially teased in Crash 4. Following the launch of Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. Earlier this year, fans have been theorizing what comes next for the gaming's marsupial mascot. Could Activision be considering a sequel for Crash Team Racing in a similar vein to Crash 4? A Crash Bash revival, maybe? A Crash Spyro crossover could also be on the cards too. One Crash 4 completionist has potentially unearthed a very first glimpse at the next game, the Crashverse. Twitter user Kumamoto Man, or whatever, posted a video reportedly showcasing a hidden Easter egg that locks upon hitting 106 completion. So the video is of the TV in the very first level, because you start on like in Insanity Beach, of course you do, because you always start on Insanity Beach. And this TV previously, if you just spun it, it would show the different title cards of the three previous Crash games. Yeah. And now when she got through and spun it to past the third one, for a hot second, it shows a title screen of a Crash game that no one knows or could recognize. So people are theorizing, of course, another Crash game. A lot of people are saying it looks sort of like a Crash Bash logo, and they could do a Crash Bash revival, which would be interesting.
What's Crash Bash for those?
So Crash Bash was
Mario Party, but for Crash.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Ooh.
As I grew older, because obviously I played that when I was younger and I loved it. I used to play with my best friend in primary school who lived down the road from me. I used to like take the disc to his house and we used to play Crash Bash all the time. But when I got older, I found out people gave it like shit reviews and didn't like it. It was one of those weird ones where obviously I had so much fun playing it and doing like just playing multiplayer with my my friend and whatever else and play through the campaign. But Crash, as a person, as a marsupial, does have a working relationship with Jeff Keighley. So wouldn't be surprised maybe if we see something at the Game Awards this coming Friday, you know? You never know what could happen. So that'd be interesting. What do you reckon, Karen? What would you like to see from Crash next? What do you reckon is the most plausible?
I either would love a new Crash Tag Team Racing. Like, all Crash Tag Team Racing in general as a remaster would be cool. I think Crash has got a lot of places it could go. You know, it could, go into the world of AR, like, go-karting games. No, it couldn't. Fuck that shit. Crash, don't do it. But no, really, I think Crash is currently kind of in its revitalization period now, where I think it can maybe take a risk and do something a little bit different with the IP. Maybe do another racing game. Maybe explore another, meta with it. Maybe do Crash VR. Crash VR could be really cool. It's just a matter of where they want to take it and who the creative minds want to push it.
I don't know if everyone else saw or not, but there was another funny video that unrelated, maybe related, I don't really know. But on the Crash Twitter account, someone they posted out this video that was like the opposite of the scene from Uncharted 4, where Crash and Coco are sitting on their couch and they're playing Uncharted 4 with a controller, which I don't really understand why this is a thing, but it obviously is quite funny nonetheless too.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the mirror image of the Uncharted 4 scene.
Yeah, exactly. Except for
That's really
their
nice.
brother and sister and Drake and
Well, you know.
Elena.
Well, the thing in that is in the background. It says Wampa League on the banner. So does that mean some sort of competition-based game going for the next one?
I guess it could be V Racing, could be Crash Bash, could be anything like that.
Could be like a speedrunner game.
Please no.
Even though Crash already is a speed.
Crash 24.
Crash goes to the Olympics.
No, don't.
Crash goes to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics.
No.
There we go. There we have it. Crash.
See,
face of the Tokyo Olympics.
see? Nintendo doesn't have the license for 2021 Olympics, so...
Screw Mario and Sonic.
Yeah, they've had enough, to be fair. They've had enough of them. Next news story, GameIndustry.biz writes, Microsoft acquires Smash.gg. Microsoft has acquired esports tournament and event organization platform Smash.gg for an undisclosed amount. News was shared today by the Smash.gg Twitter account and confirmed by Microsoft via its MSN esports socials. Quote, with this acquisition, the HTTP Smash.gg community and the tournament organizers will continue to benefit from the Smash.gg platform, while our team will now benefit from additional resources and support as part of Microsoft Content Services team, reads a tweet from Smash.gg. An additional notice on the Smash.gg website adds that the platform will continue, quote, as a self-service esports platform available to tournament organizers from all game communities. Smash.gg launched in 2015 as an esports tournament and event organization platform, including brackets, setup, and registration support for both online and live events. Karen, does it seem odd for Microsoft to be buying up what a lot of people consider a key, obviously, like local tournament organization system in Smash.gg?
Do you guys remember a little company called Mixer?
I believe
No.
it was yes.
It was a small. Recently, it was a medium-sized streaming website that Microsoft also purchased, and then didn't know what the fuck to do with it. And then it kind of just went badly, and they gave up on it. So, look, my faith in Microsoft when it comes to these random things like ventures they buy is a little bit shaken at the moment, thanks to their venture into Mixer and their venture into the Kinect and venture into everything else they try and do other than kind of make consoles. But we'll see. I'm interested to see how they do it, what they do, if they try and make it a Microsoft only thing, or if they start making do more events all over the place for your third party games rather than just Microsoft events. It'll be interesting to see.
It's a weird pickup, like weird time. I know.
It's very strange. Maybe, you know what?
Especially when Microsoft doesn't really have a
esport
game.
Like, you know what? A lot of the console esports games are actually played on PlayStations. Like, unless it's like when Halo was a thing, but a lot of the time it's mostly
Halo and Gears both used to be competitive games back in the day.
Yes.
Not so much
yes,
anymore.
Very much so.
So, unless they're hoping to revitalize the Halo competitive edge with Halo...
I can always remember there being Xbox stuff on like Spike TV with Xbox 360 like back during that generation. But not really much ever since then.
Yeah. It's certainly interesting. I'll keen to see what they do. I highly doubt they would start making it only Microsoft games. That doesn't really fit their current MO. I don't think, but it's interesting nonetheless to note it, so we can spin back on this in next amount of episodes when we actually find out what they do. VG247 writes, Cyberpunk 2077 streams and Let's Plays will be taken down ahead of a release. CD Projekt Red doesn't want you posting streams or Let's Plays of Cyberpunk 2077 before its official release. If you do post these or any similar content for Cyberpunk 2077 before December 10th, it will be taken down by the company. The reason is CDPR doesn't want folks to be spoiled ahead of time. So they post up this notice on their Twitter account where they basically said, just fuck off, don't do it. No, they said, we're getting closer and closer to launch, and chances are some of you get your hands on a copy of Cyberpunk 2077 before release date. However, difficult this might be for us to achieve, our ambition is for all gamers across the world to have the same spoiler-free experience at the time of the game's release. This is why we kindly ask you, fucking Bioshock reference, not to Let's Play or release any similar content before December 9th. 12 p.m. CET, blah, 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 blah. We will send Max Tack, the guy who takes down videos after everyone who does after that date. However, we would love if you streamed everything like there's no tomorrow. It's 2020. Who knows? I understand them being like, obviously don't spoil the game. But also, I think if a bunch of people start streaming it like the day before release, like if a bunch of people get deliveries of the game day before release, I think CDPR, if they start taking down people's videos, their like gamer cred quickly crashes. Like the second you start taking down those videos, I think people would.
I don't think so at all.
I think people would turn on. That's why I'm putting my money on.
No, I don't think. I think maybe
not when they put out this warning.
No, not when the people who are going to be annoyed is going to be a small minority. Like small minority. It's not going to be. It'll be the people getting the videos taken down. But they've put out this warning. I think they're well within their rights. I think this is actually a really good move by them. I think they're acknowledging that the world we live in, where games do get delivered early and people will have access to the game early. We already know people have access to the game, and they're going to be on the forward foot to try and stop spoilers getting out and stop things happening. Even though earlier in the year we had The Last of Us debacle, thanks to spoilers that were released for that much earlier. I think this is well within their rights, and I think very good for them to be like, no, we're going on the offensive. Anything that's up, we're just going to get it taken down. Just to kind of stop those spoilers getting out there and letting everybody and I think that's the thing. I think this is a game that deserves that kind of defensive strategy almost, where this is so hyped and people are so excited for it, and this is what the game that a lot of people have been talking about for at least the last 12 months. So everybody deserves to have equal chance of getting the game and experiencing the game at the same time on a fair playing field.
Yeah. Ash, how do you feel any different?
I don't have a problem. I mean, technically, anyone who is streaming it is technically breaking the law, or breaking copyright.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's crazy to think that we've got this massive industry built on people breaking copyright law.
What?
It's kind of built on this.
Oh, like let's players and streamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. To a degree it is, which is...
Well, it's stuff like,
which is why it's funny, everything...
But everyone's like shifted. Like Nintendo at first was like, back in the day, were like, don't stream any of our shit, don't make Let's Plays. And even they, over the years, have gone to be like, well, we can't win this fight.
I think it's because of fair use has come out and like it is transformative overall.
The thing with fair use is it's like different rules.
It's a
different.
defense.
No, fair use is like, depending on what country you're in, it's a...
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Not Germany, though.
Not Germany, we discovered.
Germany. Streaming and Let's Plays is an interesting discussion. And I think in many ways, like, it is like, who was that douche canoe? Was it from one of the Stadia, heads of... No, it wasn't even head of Stadia. It was like one of the creative directors of one of those studios.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was trying to get it right before I said it incorrectly, because one of the things was it was being advertised that it was Stadia that said this.
He's updated his Twitter profile since, I believe, before you
yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So it's a case of like where you wanted everybody to have licensing for these games that they're playing on stream and pay the devs back, where it's like, no, like this is, it's just part of the world we live in and the way it's formed.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Like, it's one of those things where like I understand like that argument to a degree. It's like if you treat Let's Plays the same as like playing music or something, but like Let's Plays and content creation has kind of paved its own way, and
well, it's only like all they have to have is like some kind of fine print or something when you buy a game that says cannot be streamed or played before this date. Really, like as in terms of
well, I mean, if a game's public, you can't. To me, it's stupid. Like I always thought it was stupid with Persona 5 when they were like, "Don't stream past this day," and then they were like blocking people. I thought that was stupid. I'm like, why do you get to be the one company that are like?
That's a bit different. I don't agree with that way, but I do for this. Like, say if you stream before the actual release date of the game, and that's without having permission from the devs. I think then they have the right to be like, no.
Look, if anyone's got copies at the moment, like media, like presumably IGN and places have got copies, they would have embargoes. So, like,
and it's like a thing with like, it's the same as what happens if like a retailer breaks street date for games everywhere. Yes,
like we had
the
earlier
moment
in the year.
Final Fantasy,
where there is kind of not hell to pay, but there are consequences for breaking street date. Everybody else, normal, the moment one person breaks street date, it's fair game for everybody else to do it. Like they all kind of.
Do you guys remember? I don't know if you like years and years ago, back in like the mid PS3 like generation. I swear every big game was breaking street date.
Breaking street date. There was a really big period of time where
I just
especially when I was
almost to break street date.
When I was 14, 15 working in the local video game store.
14 working at 14, 15 working at
I was
that legal?
legally working there.
Technically.
Yeah, I was 15. 14 and 9 months is the legal working age, and that is how old I was at the time.
It definitely sounds like it.
Yeah, definitely. And we used to literally the moment you heard that JB Hi-Fi or EB Games or somebody
had Kmart or Target.
Let's be honest, it was Kmart or Target or Big W, one of the big box stores that didn't know.
The box came in, and then the person on staff who isn't like a gamer or whatever didn't know. They just put it straight on the shelf.
The guy who's working there for the first time, first day, just put out whatever's in that box.
Yeah.
As soon it was reported on that store at Breaking Street Date, it was fair game. It was get those games on the shelf right now and start telling people.
Yeah, because I always remember I used to like follow my local EB Games, and the street date would break so often. I'd always just post like, or someone would tell me, or like you'd hear down the grapevine like it's broken street date, but like they don't have it out EB. But if you go in and ask,
for it, they'll give it to you.
The amount of times I'd go in and be like, so. I've heard, and I'm like, here's
like some kind of shady deal. Like you're there with like a briefcase with your FPOS card in it. Like,
I remember when I picked up my copy of Arkham City, right? So I had the collector's edition of Arkham City pre-ordered, and that broke street date by 4 days or something.
Is that one of the? Was that one of the times where they couldn't give you the special edition, but they could give you the game? Yes, so I've seen that happen a couple of times.
So they're like, hey. We don't actually have your collector's edition right now. That's not going to come because it broke street date like 4 or 5 days or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, but we have these regular copies. And he kind of just did me I presume a dodgy, but because I was a regular, it was just like whatever. He gave me a regular copy. He said, don't use the DLC codes. I played that for the 3-4 days or whatever. And then I came in to pick up my collector's edition, and he's like, you didn't use the DLC codes? I'm like, no, I'm good. And I'm pretty sure he just took my copy and put it like on the shelf as new and sold it that way with the DLC codes, and then gave me my collector's edition, which I took home. But at that point, I'd nearly finished the fucking game, obviously. So I always remember that one just being like one of those funny, like,
especially that's funny because Arkham City had the DLC for that was
Catwoman.
Was Catwoman, and that was like the start of the game.
Yeah, so I didn't get to play that until. I started that very late into when other people would have. I had a very weird experience with that game, but nonetheless, it's one that stands out in my memories for what happened. That was a weird one. I even won like a EB Games poster, like Arkham City poster, like like one of 500, one of 1,000 or something like that. I had like all this weird like Arkham City luck or not luck. I don't know. Anyway, last news story for the week. Bioware and Bioware's having the interest of time. Kotaku writes, Bioware studio head, Dragon Age producer both leave studio. They just opened this news story with Casey Hudson is leaving Bioware again. In a blog post announcing his departure, the creative director of Mass Effect series and now former studio general manager of Bioware wrote, quote, I'm incredibly fortunate to have had a career where I've been able to work with brilliantly talented people, create entire worlds from our imaginations, and see them being enjoyed by millions of people around the world. And now, after nearly 20 years of work at Bioware, I've made the decision to retire from the studio and make way for the next generation of studio leaders. Also leaving Bioware is Dragon Age executive producer Mark Dara. Quote, though I remain confident in BioWare's strength and continued place in this conversation, I've decided to retire from my position at BioWare, he wrote. Development on the new Dragon Age, the Mass Effect remaster, and whatever was going on with Anthem will continue, according to Laura Meal, Chief Studios Officer at Electronic Arts. Christian Daly, formerly of Blizzard Entertainment, will take over from Dara on Dragon Age 4, while Mark Gamble heads the team working on Mass Effect's remaster. Honestly, I don't know if this is good news or bad. I'm in the middle of it to a degree. Like Casey Hudson is obviously like a big prominent name in the video game industry. And obviously he was he's the guy at Bioware that, created all of your favorite things basically with he'd do everything, but he was a creative that did everything. Remember when Mass Effect 2 came out, you couldn't not hear Casey Hudson's name on some part of the internet, people just like praising Casey Hudson. But also, I don't know if this is some sort of case of maybe it's better for the old guard to leave because maybe what BioWare actually needs is fresh blood leading it to help get the train back on the correct path. You know what I mean? Like Anthem, obviously, the fuck. Mass Effect Remaster, cool. What the hell's happening with Mass Effect Andromeda? We all know that story. Dragon Age, Inquisition, even that game had like very sort of mixed reviews. So like, I don't know, the heyday of BioWare is coming. Is it going? I don't really know.
Well, just as an aside for this story as well, I don't know if you saw, but Patrick Weeks, who's one of the writers for at BioWare and EA, tweeted out earlier today because there was a picture going around about him, like pretty much the picture's like theme was that he was the only hope that was left for the BioWare series and for Dragon Age. And he tweeted out that I guess it was quite a distressed tweet that he was trying to kind of be like, hey, I don't need everybody putting this kind of pressure on me like this. I'm going through some health issues at the moment. Please, it just caused me more stress. And then also, like, how offensive that is to all of the other writers and everything else that is working on that game currently, and the rest of the creative team and the rest of the dev team even. So I get it. I guess it's one of the negative sides of people being so well known on games and in development teams, because when they leave, it's like the gaming community kind of reacts to it and goes, oh no, this person's leaving. This is going to be so sad. This is such a loss, where you don't know what the feeling is on the other side of things, especially for the dev team. The dev team might see this as a positive, where they're like, even though they're probably sorry and sad to see Casey go unless there's something happened behind the scenes, but they're probably thinking, right, now we can start a fresh page and move on and move forward with this game. And kind of, it's that kind of working through the system and moving through it that you get. So it's interesting the effect that these kind of events have on everybody around them. As well as like the overall kind of perception that the gaming community has on people leaving like this.
Yeah, I've seen mixed reactions, I suppose, is the way to put it, especially when it comes to Casey Hudson, because Casey Hudson was someone who everyone had love. As I said, everyone loved him around Mass Effect 2 period. After Mass Effect 3 came out, the internet kind of turned on him because of the ending, and we spoke about how everyone sort of hated Mass Effect 3. I think at that point, the internet did what they did. So he like disappeared after Mass Effect 3. He disappeared. I don't know what he did. I can't even remember if he did anything. And then he came back to BioWare a couple of years ago, and like I think he's only been there for like 3 years or something.
Yeah, so he came back in 2017.
Because him coming back, I remember him coming back being praised as like the prodigal son return.
Yeah, well, at the time when he returned, it was like, well, BioWare's in a shit place. Maybe Casey Hudson's coming back as the prodigal son to fix this shit. But I don't think you could say that's exactly what's happened over the last couple of years. You know, no offense to BioWare, but around Anthem came out sometime after that for a start, so there's no rules.
It's a weird story. You just don't know how to feel, obviously, with BioWare in such a precarious position. What I guess the other question is what they're going to do next. Obviously, when Casey Hudson left last time, he went to Microsoft. Is there a particular reason he's leaving now, or is it just for the good of the studio?
Well, I mean, that's the quote in the story and his post or whatever. He said what did he say? To step down or whatever. Nearly after 20 years of work at Bioware, I've made the decision to retire from the studio and make way for next generation of studio leads. He doesn't say retire from game development.
Games.
Though. He says retire from the
He could be-
studio.
Yeah, I mean, he could be going the same direction as a lot of like other big name people.
Start their own
probably
indie
work on
studios.
some indie studios, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his blog post doesn't really like. So, in the full thing, he says, "When I became studio GM a little over 3 years ago, our goal as a leadership team was to position our people and projects for long-term success. Now, as Bioware celebrates its 25th anniversary, the studio is poised for an exciting new era of amazing games. This year, we've been inspired by the continued community support for our ongoing works on Star Wars: The Old Republic and Anthem. A few months ago, we provided a deeper look at the work that's going on into the next huge Dragon Age game, and on N7 Day, we announced Mass Effect Legendary Edition and gave a hint of what's coming next in the Mass Effect universe. It's an exciting time, both in terms of projects you've heard about and some things not yet announced. Arriving at this point has been an opportunity for me to reflect on my own future, and 2020 has been a year that forced all of us to reimagine how we think about work and life. For me, it's been the realization that I still have tremendous energy to create, but also that I need to try something different. I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but I know that I want to start by rediscovering my creative passion through more personal work." To me, that reads a lot as so he was the studio general manager. He was not the creative director or like any sort of creative field where he started and like where he did most of his work. And like even when he left Bioware, he went over to become a creative or whatever at Microsoft. So it sounds like maybe he's come in.
He's taken a desk job.
Yeah, like maybe he's helped sort of get things back on track. And now that everything seems to be going back on track, he's like, okay, well, I did my desk job time well. Everything seems to be going well here. I'm going to head off and go start an indie studio and make games again or something.
Right off into the sunset.
Yeah, that's kind of what that sounds like to me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
As for Mark Darrow is an interesting one because he is kind of in a lot of ways the key creative on Dragon Age. Like he's been involved with Dragon Age from the start. He's been the executive producer. So it says here, Mark Darrow is the executive producer of Dragon Age franchise. He's been in the game industry since 1997. He programmed most of the combat system in the original Baldur's Gate. And then he is also the executive producer of Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age Dawn of Seeker, Dragon Age Inquisition, as both a project director and an executive producer on Dragon Age 2. So like in a lot of ways, I saw a lot of people talking about on the internet how like he was Dragon Age for a lot of people. So people are wondering about that franchise, but maybe even Dragon Age is getting it. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting time. I think the way the internet's been reacting to this news is mostly because people have been wanting good news to come out of Bioware, like, or for them to like, drop something that everyone likes again. And then when that hasn't happened, and then you have two big people from the company leave, everyone always acts. Of course, when anyone leaves, people automatically jump to it being negative. Like it's bad news that someone left. Even though, as we talked about before, game development and studios are quite weird in that they could be leaving because they've done what they felt they needed to do and they got the projects in a certain direction, or the studio in a certain direction, and they're free to kind of leave now. You often see the creatives leave a project like a year or more before a game releases because they've done the writing or whatever, like that sort of work, and then a lot of time the last remaining time on game development spent on technical side stuff, so that the creatives aren't even necessarily hanging around anymore. So it's interesting. Which is a random side note, I did not know this until I listened to that latest episode of Kind of Funny's We Have Cool Friends. But Ryan Clements worked at 2 years at Deck 13 Games, right? And he was doing creative work there as a writer in some regard, and he only recently left. And he can't even talk about the game yet because it's not been announced. Which was news to me that is Deck 13, right? Or was it Deck 9?
Or is it Deck 9?
Is it
Deck 9 is more familiar than Deck 13.
Am I just making up?
I don't know why. That's why when you said Deck 13, I was slightly confused.
I was like, Deck?
Because Deck 9 were the ones that did Life is Strange Before the Storm?
Before the Storm, yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's Deck 9.
Yeah, Deck 9.
I don't know. You sure it isn't the German video game developer based in Frankfurt who made such games as Ankh, The Tale of Mysteries, and Lords of Fallen and The Surge?
Maybe I'm just combining two game companies. It is that. So Deck 9. So they have not done a game since before the storm. So I haven't announced anything, obviously. And I haven't heard them talk about anything. I hadn't even heard any rumors. And it wasn't until I was listening to that podcast.
That's not true. They're working on a game with Square Enix.
What? Yeah, that they're publishing it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until weirdly when I was listening to that podcast the other day, I was like, damn, maybe if I'd heard this prior to doing our Game Wars predictions last week, maybe this is a sign. Like maybe Deck 9 is going to announce their next game. I don't know. Because it's supposed to be an original thing, obviously. I don't think it's supposed to be another Life is Strange spin-off. So,
No, definitely not.
anyway, random side note. That'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Find us on Twitter, heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Let us know on Twitter what you thought of the show, or mail at explosionnetwork.com, subject line Arcade Couch. You can email us there. You can join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. Don't forget the Game Awards are on Friday. Jeff Kelly's Game Awards. Friday, 11 a.m. Apparently they go for 4 hours. Ash is hoping that's not true. But
That's ridiculously long. That's hella long. What are they going to do for 4 hours?
trailers,
I know.
celebrate, games,
Listen,
music,
we know-
4
Pearl
hours
Jam.
of trailers
Eddie-
is insane.
Eddie Vedder's going to do Future Days. I think that's a given. Brie Larson's apparently going to come out.
Tom Holland,
So she's just going to get half an hour to do like a one.
Tom Holland, does he show the Uncharted trailer?
presumably.
Have to.
Presumably.
Who else are we going with?
I presume Brie Larson's going to do something Animal Crossing related, because I know she was a
Probably.
fan of that.
She's a big Animal Crossing fan.
fan lately. Pearl Jam's there is going to play that song from Last of Us Part 2, the one that was in that. What the fuck's that song called? I can't remember.
Future Days. I just
Wait,
said
are you going to say Pearl Jam's going to play it? Really? You think so?
They're there. That's already been announced.
It's
it.
already
Just
been
Eddie
announced,
Vedder.
really?
Just Eddie
Oh.
Vedder, though.
Yes.
Oh, it's just
doing
Eddie?
acoustic version.
Okay. All right. So it's not full. I was going to
It's
say
Pearl
that's...
Jam.
Listen, wait. Eddie Vedder, Troy Baker duet.
That'd be pretty
And
cool.
Or Ashley Johnson duet.
Ashley Johnson do it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Suddenly this 4 hours has sounded like a lot of fun, hey?
Yep.
Yeah, so look, Arcade Couch will probably come out early.
Yeah. He's going to perform it 3 times.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't know when we're recording Arcade Couch next. Presumably, sometime shortly
Wait,
after the
do
show.
you reckon?
I presume it'll come out early. It's not going to come out next Monday. I presume we'll just drop it as soon as we do it, because we'll talk.
As soon as we're
As soon as we're done, we'll be talking about the awards. We'll be talking about the reveals, trailers. Hopefully, there's some cool stuff, obviously. So, exciting time. Always look forward to the Game Awards. Look forward to talking about them and going through all the stuff. And that's on Friday at 11. I just keep saying it like I'm not paid to promote the Game Awards, but I just Friday 11 a.m. everyone,
Yeah.
by the way, Australian
Yet.
Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah.
Man, good thing my PC has 2 screens, so I can play Cyberpunk on one.
How
of them
many
and watch
That's
how many
the Game Awards
disgusting.
Fortnite
together.
reveals are going to be in the Game Awards?
That's disgusting. 3.
What do you mean? What do you mean that's disgusting?
Halo, Nintendo character, and a new map. or
Haven't they
something.
already revealed Halo?
Nah, that was rumors. So God of War. I keep trying to end the show. Kratos is out now, right? So that was leaked,
Oh.
and then it was announced. So
That was
Kratos
leaked,
is
yeah.
officially in the game now. Other leak was that Master Chief was going to be in it, and then if Master Chief's going to be in it, Kratos is in it, and Mando's already in it, there has to be a Nintendo character.
Imagine they cut it so it looks like it's possible.
Which, by the way, we didn't. Hold on, I'm not
Infinite.
ending this show yet. I'm not ending this show because I completely forgot. So,
Of course, why
yeah,
not?
fuck it. I was playing Fortnite. Me and Ash were playing Fortnite
Yeah.
the other night.
Wait, both of you
We were
were
playing
playing
Fortnite.
Last night.
Okay.
Yeah, as
okay.
of recording,
was
it
my
was last
invite,
night.
but sure,
So I was playing
that's fine.
Fortnite. I never played this game before. It's fucking very confusing. You got to build stuff. I don't really understand it properly.
You do have to build.
Uh,
you have to crank them builds.
I wanted to get the Mando, which I discovered you actually have to pay for, so I paid for it now, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I bought the Battle Pass, whatever it is.
I was going to say, wait, did you think you could unlock it?
Yeah, I
'Cause
thought I
don't
could
think there's
unlock
any
it.
unlockable
No.
content
So-
unless you buy like the
there's
battle
a quest
pass.
in the game, and I thought the quest would lead to it, but the quest gives you his full suit or something for best guy armor. So you have to buy the Battle Pass, and he's the first unlock as part of the Battle Pass. So I've done that. So I'm in for Fortnite now.
All right.
But most importantly, I did get a win, which was fantastic. You can find my winning video clip on my Twitter at
Dylan,
VIVALADL. It was
Dylan.
fantastic. So
I'm so sorry.
not only does Ash just die and then I'm outside the circle, And I'm on nearly no HP.
I die in the circle
guys.
before you, like closer to the circle.
So I managed to survive on barely fuck all HP. I make it out of the circle. I'm like, okay, whatever. There's someone else there. I just walk up to them. I somehow kill them. They had killed the Mandalorian in the map and taken his jetpack. So I took the jetpack. I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm walking along. Someone else starts shooting at me. I magically survive on no HP and kill them. I'm like a fucking boss. I'm sneaking around. I'm like, don't worry, just keep swimming. Let's keep going. Come across someone else. They start firing at me. Food jetpack. Off I go, fly to the sky. Somehow kill them. No scopes. 360 pro. Find someone else. Fucking kill them. Next second, I'm like, I drop my gun by accident and I swap it for something else because I don't understand how to play this fucking game and its control system. I'm like, oh shit, someone's shooting at me from behind. I quickly run over to where I dropped my gun, pick it up, get the jetpack, fucking jetpack over towards them and kill them as I'm flying towards them. The jetpack. Next level kill. Get my force, whatever it's called, Battle Royale, Royal Cheese.
Victory Royale.
Victory Royale.
Not to burst your bubbles.
Basically
Not to burst your bubbles too much.
It was not bots, if you're asking.
Are you sure?
Our first two matches were
This
bots.
is good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we got through the bots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got through the bots.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, we definitely got up to the part where people were building massive structures and killing us from above.
yeah, so that's why we kept strong. We got second twice, and it was because the other team would just
We were hiding.
So it was hiding, and would build like a barricade. The next second, they would just be building, and they're up in the sky. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that, but I can't win because you're just going to kill me.
Yeah, you got to learn how to crank
No, I
builds
can't do
up,
that.
Like,
but
like
yeah, our first two games were bots because I kept just running up to people directly in their face and just going like, bang, 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 you're dead. And their names were like, bot Jimmy, bot John. And I'm like, I think these are bots. So no, yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for the show. I've already said the outro. Goodbye, everyone. Bye. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com. And please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.